and I haven't even thought about what songs I'm gonna play aside from them, so I'm gonna start with them. Wanted to talk about what this one is about. It's kind of about conceptions of history as like something that's fixed in the past, and how I feel like more and more the society that we live in kind of teaches us that like things have always been this way. Like I know that growing up, like I didn't even consider that there was something before capitalism, or that capitalism was only a couple hundred years old, or that like as recently as like 50 years ago there were armed revolutionary movements in the United States, because you just don't learn that kind of thing, and there's more things going on thinking about writing this song, but I guess the idea is that we do ourselves a disservice by not thinking of history as something that's fluid and that we're participating in, and we also do people who have struggled to get us things that we take for granted a disservice by, I guess, taking them for granted. So like that's kind of a cliche thing to be like, don't take for granted the people who like struggled before you, but maybe that is what I'm saying. Carol Rose knew that she seemed as a sculpture of stone to those who grew up living history's end. She said, if there's something worse than not living to find out the worth of your work, it's living to find no one's heard that you fought for it. Carol Rose, well, no one ever said that it wouldn't be understood. History books had said, this is how things always looked. It's not to be shook. It's not to be shook. Harold Brown grew up fighting for something that then seemed impossible. Liberation from a law. He said, when you're not worth as much as the other folks riding the bus, you put off a fuss, put yourself before the law. Harold's blood, well, no one ever said that it would be understood. Carol Rhodes had said, sometimes you just do what you know that you should, even when you don't feel good. Sha-la-la. 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 Carol said, history books may have said that this is how things always looked. Things have been shook. Things have been shook. Carol Rhodes said, if there's just one thing that could be understood, that we've since seen things that we thought that impossible. There's actually an added ending to that song, but that's for another time. Feeling a little out of tune. Big up to Eubonics.
Yeah.
What?
I don't even.
Yeah. Jake, it's a pleasure. Thank you. Laura Stevens and the cans are fucking awesome. It was incredible. Just bear with me, I want to try to play it. I will be with my mom at the end of her life, 'cause I know that she would be for mine. It's not obligation that leads me to say it, it's how I intend to spend the time. No person who gives out a part of themselves will ever be truly forgotten. These parts will change hands and they surpass lifespans alive as long as they are passed along. And I will remember these parts. And I will remember my mom. My mother sat like a book on the shelf through the cold autumn years of her life, replaying her memories, good tape on repeat, over and over in her mind. She'd always been the kind of a mother who would put others before herself, this much I know. There were men in her life who took well advantage before they got up to go. Imagine all of your memories, mistakes that you made, played over in your mind like a tape on repeat. My mother's regrets, for which she lost rest. Does it keep you awake at night? Could you tell me that, Father? Do your memories haunt you, sir? Or are you content with what you left behind? I will be with my mom at the end of her life. Sir, I will not be for yours. Done nothing to earn it. Frankly, you don't deserve it, so you won't be receiving that reward. There are people whose names are passed down generations, and sir, yours is not one of them. Consider it a consequence, a mistake that you made, for which there'll never be amends. How's that for a memory? Keep you awake. There are parts that you gave to me, but there are parts of us all, I think,